Good morning, C.W. Henry School. This is Miss Davis coming to you virtually with recorded announcements for our family forum. I'm sorry that I'm not here with you this morning. I am double booked in a school-wide visit with my assistant superintendent and some other principals, but I will be joining to host the 5 p.m. family forum tonight as well. So as I go through the announcements, if you have any questions or something that you'd like to ask me one-on-one, you can always shoot me an email at kdavis4@philasd. Send me a message on Remind, or if your schedule allows, rejoin tonight at around 5:30, and I will be there to answer any questions that you may have. So our agenda for today, there are a number of announcements. I'm going to share some information about attendance. We're going to discuss some information relating to school reopening, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Brogan to host our question and answer session. If you have not done so already, please type your full name into the chat because that is the way that we record attendance for these family forums. So to share around our attendance, we have a school-wide goal for our daily attendance at C.W. Henry School. So on this slide, you'll see how we were doing day by day for the month, so far in the month of October. Our daily goal is to have at least 96% attendance, which is what you see in the green box. The School District of Philadelphia goal is at least 95% average daily attendance. So that is what you'll see on the days where there is an orange box. And unfortunately, we had one day on October 12th, Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day, when students' attendance was much lower. That is the lowest day we've had all school year, but I'm glad that we got back on track for the rest of the week. And we started off yesterday, October 19th, with a stronger start on a Monday. So this is, the bi-weekly thank you I give to all families for everything you do to get your children to school virtually. We know it is not easy, and we appreciate your efforts. If you have any questions about attendance, you can always reach out to Mr. Brogan as well as Ms. Rivera. They are our go-to attendance designees at C.W. Henry School for this school year. On this slide, you'll see a grade level breakdown of our students who are attending school 95% or more of the time. So this shows you from kindergarten across to 8th grade, the percentage of students who have come to school 95% or more. So the grade with the highest 95% or better attendance are towards the bottom, and the grades who have the lowest 95% or better are towards the top. You'll see two lines, the green and the yellow line. The green line is the School District of Philadelphia's average. So across all grades from K to 8, 56.1% of students on average are attending 95% or more of the time. And in Learning Network 6, which is the network where C.W. Henry School is a part of, it is slightly higher at 58.8. With the exception of one grade, we are surpassing all of these averages by a lot, which is really awesome to see. And the work of our team is to troubleshoot any barriers that may be in the way preventing students from attending school. Obviously, if your child is sick or if you have a doctor's appointment or a personal emergency, we are not advocating for you to send your child to school, but please continue to communicate with us so that we can code and excuse those absences as needed. Again, if you have any questions about attendance, Mr. Brogan and Ms. Perez are the go-to people to ask. So the next couple slides are some general announcements and things I just want to celebrate and really emphasize that have occurred over the last 2.5 or 3 weeks. So starting off, this is a brand new announcement. You guys are the first ones to hear about it. We have a new email address at Henry. It is a generic general email address that is checked by multiple staff members at the Henry School, myself included. And the email address is simply henry@philasd.org. So this is really a catch-all email address where any parent or community member could reach out if they had a question about anything. Let's say you have a question about attendance or a question about climate and safety, and you really don't know who to contact. Maybe it's not the right question for your child's teacher, or you're not sure who else in the school can answer you. You can always email the henry@philasd.org email address. So right now, the people who have access to this email address are myself, Mr. Brogan, Ms. Liu, our secretary, as well as Ms. Perez, our community relations liaison. When we do come back to school in person, I intend to have perhaps one or two more people who are checking this email and answering. But it's a place where if parents or anyone else in the school has a question to ask and they're not sure if they're asking the right person, you could always email this email address directly, or you could CC it in your email to, let's say, your child's teacher. This is a flyer that you will see on social media, and we're going to post it on our Google Classrooms, but you are the first to know. Our next announcement relates to our extracurricular clubs for fall. So we are starting some virtual EC or extracurricular clubs. You'll see four small flyers on the screen. We actually have 5 clubs. Ms. Johnson is going to be running a finance club with our upper school students as well. So on this slide, you'll see that Ms. Paulino is hosting a dance club after school for students of any age or grade level. She's having a beginners and an advanced session on Mondays and Wednesdays. Ms. Mullen, our 4th grade teacher, is hosting a book club for upper school 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students, and you'll notice that she's inviting parents as well to join. If you are a parent of an upper school student and you'd like to participate in her book club, it is open to you. And Mr. Conrad, our newest music teacher, is hosting 2 different clubs, one that he's calling his Music Makers Club for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, and the other that he's calling his Beat Makers Club for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So you'll see the dates and the times on each of these flyers, and sign up is starting this week, and the clubs are going to be starting by the end of October. They are all held virtually for the time being. This is a plug for Storybook Character Day. So if you are a returning family to Henry School, you know that on or around Halloween, we host a Storybook Character Day where we invite students to dress up in a costume of their favorite book character. This year, we're hosting it virtually, and it's organized by our wonderful music teacher, Ms. Paulino Trisdorfer. So if your child is excited about participating in this, we ask that you dress up at home in the costume of a book character and take a photo and email it to Ms. Paulino. And all of the submissions are due next week by October 27th. If you're ready right now, you can send your picture early. And we're going to have a virtual assembly for our kindergarten to 4th grade students. If your child is in 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th grade and they would like to participate, they can definitely take a picture of themselves and send it over to Ms. Paulino as well. Along the same lines, Ms. Pinnell is hosting her annual Storybook Character Pumpkin Decorating Contest. So this is when you can get a pumpkin or a different type of gourd and dress it up in a costume. You can paint it, you can color it, you can use construction paper, whatever creative way you would like to decorate it, you are invited to do so. And if you would like to participate in this contest, we ask that you take a picture, send it through email to Ms. Pinnell. And the way that we choose the winners is that we have school-wide voting. So Ms. Pinnell has a website where she has some really, really fun pictures of the contest from last year. And the link for her website is in the slideshow, and Mr. Brogan can drop it in the chat if you're interested in checking out last year's entries. This is just a reminder that on Wednesdays, Mr. Cannon continues to be at CW Henry School right at the main entrance, providing in-person tech support. The only new information to share is if you have a child who's old enough to come to school by themselves, they are invited to wear their mask and come to CW Henry School with their Chromebook if they're having any issues and they don't have an adult to come with them. So Mr. Cannon has a table set up at the main entrance where students or family members can sit with him, bring their Chromebook, troubleshoot what's occurring, and he is here to help. The same offer goes out for any students, if they're old enough to do so, to come to school by themselves if they just want help figuring out how to use their Chromebook more efficiently. Maybe nothing's actually wrong with it. It's not broken. They just need a little support or guidance in how to become more digitally literate on their Chromebook. They can reach out to Mr. Cannon that way. And tonight, there is Storybook Character Online Bingo with the PTA. So at the bottom of this slide, you'll see that there's a link where you can purchase your bingo boards virtually. There's going to be some prizes, and I encourage everybody, if you are available tonight after our 5 p.m. Family forum, log on with the PTA. It should be a fun time. All right, that brings us to the end of our announcements. We're going to shift gears, and I want to share some information around the planned returning to school. So on this slide, you'll just see a screenshot from the school district's website. You can visit philasd.org/AES. It stands for Advancing Education Safely. And it's going to bring you to a hub where there are a lot of different resources and hyperlinks that are some of them are new, some of them were shared over the summer, and they all relate to the planned reopening for school. So I'm sure everybody knows I sent a family letter last week that the school district is so far planning to move forward with a hybrid reopening of school for our kindergarten, first, and second grade families only. So this is a screenshot from one of the documents on the school district website that lets you know how they are planning to phase students in. So right now we are just up at the top of this table on phase 1, where the plan is that during the week of November 30th, the students in the lower grades have the option of being phased in. All students in the remaining grades, as well as students with special ed complex needs, are planned to be phased in at a later date. So I've been using the word planning very intentionally because this hybrid option is not yet approved. So there is a board meeting on October the 22nd at 5 p.m., an action meeting where the board is voting on this plan. So we will see if they are planning to move forward. And pending approval, that's approval from the board, approval from the PFT, there will be teachers, special ed assistants, different climate staff members, and other integral members of our school team, such as our nurse, our secretary, and our counselor, who are planning to return to school for the week of November 9th. As of right now, all other staff will remain virtual. So this slide just shows you, let me click all of them so you can see some of the things that have been happening as we're planning for reopening. So I shared in my family letter last week that the district has what they're calling Readiness Dashboards that are tracking the school's preparation and progress towards reopening. Mr. Brogan can share that hyperlink, but it just takes you to the dashboard for C.W. Henry School that shows you what has been done so far and what still needs to be done in order for us to be deemed ready to reopen to staff and students. We continue to receive continual protective gear deliveries. So far, we have a great number of masks, disposable masks, cloth masks, and face shields that have been delivered to the school, as well as sanitary disinfecting wipes and gallons of alcohol-based hand sanitizer. And the purpose for all of this PPE is that they will go into classrooms, right? They're meant to give teachers the option to use the supplies if needed. Of course, teachers are not the ones who will be cleaning the classrooms. The custodial team will be doing so, but there is additional supplies to equip teachers and other staff members with, just to make people feel as safe as possible. Classrooms have been prepared by our custodial team. So when we left school in March, there were a lot of personal belongings, books, different school materials left in desks and in classrooms. So those materials have been organized, classrooms have been emptied, desks have been emptied, the floors were waxed as they are done every summer, and the classrooms are in the process of being reassembled. So every day when I'm there, I spend a couple hours working with different members of our climate team, putting classrooms back together, arranging desks, moving furniture, getting everything ready so that if and when students do return, they're greeted with a clean and organized classroom that is ready to welcome them. On the right-hand side of my screen, you'll see some different points in yellow that I think are very, very important to emphasize. So there was a ventilation capacity assessment completed at C.W. Henry School. I've received a number of questions, understandably, from parents around what this means and where are the results. So the purpose of the assessment was to determine in all spaces throughout the building, the maximum number of people who could occupy that space at one time while maintaining safe ventilation standards. So if you've checked out our readiness dashboard, you'll see that this box was checked, that this assessment has been completed, and I'm waiting for the results of the assessment. What will happen once we receive those results is that the building engineer has a placard that he'll post outside of every room and common area that announces the number of people who can safely occupy such space. So we're still waiting for that to happen, and it absolutely will be completed before students are back in the building, students or staff. For my kindergarten, first, and second grade families, there is a survey that will be released by the School District of Philadelphia on October the 26th, asking your preference. So by default, students will remain in a virtual schooling option when we return to a hybrid model unless parents opt in for their students to return in person. What we're going to do at C.W. Henry School is we're going to release a preliminary survey by the end of this week to our kindergarten, first, and second grade families to gauge some interest, because based on the number of families who would like their children to return, it's going to have an impact on, logistically, how we staff our school and how we are planning to reopen. So we would like this data sooner rather than later. So you can expect a preliminary survey to come to you through email and in Remind absolutely by the end of this week. This will be a school-based survey just to gauge your interest. If you do want your child to return in a hybrid model, you definitely will need to complete the School District of Philadelphia's survey as well. I know for many families, it is difficult at this time to answer this survey because there's still information that feels like it's unknown, right? We're not sure if it's safe yet. People are well aware that the COVID numbers in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and the rest of the country are increasing, not decreasing. And it's everybody's most important priority to keep their children safe, as well as our C.W. Henry staff. Nobody wants to put anyone in harm's way. So I encourage you to answer the survey honestly and think about what is best for your child and your family. And if let's say you answer the C.W. Henry survey and say that you intend to send your child back, or you're not going to send your child back, and then you change your mind by the time the district survey comes around, that's absolutely okay. It's just a preliminary survey for us to use as we begin planning. And last but not least, the district has pivoted in their approach to a hybrid schedule, which I think most people are really excited to see. So they are now having what they're calling an AABB schedule. And you can read all about this on the school district's website, where students are going to be in two cohorts, cohort A and cohort B. And cohort A will attend on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday will be a fully virtual online day for all grades. And then cohort B will attend on Thursday and Friday. So this will allow for deep cleaning to happen on Wednesdays before the second cohort of students come into the building. And I've received a number of questions from families around how do I get to be in cohort A or how do I get to be in cohort B based on my family's schedule at home and my work schedule. So my understanding is that the school district is going to assign families to cohorts centrally, but then on the local level, I will have the autonomy to make any changes or shifts as needed, as long as we're able to maintain safe maximum capacity numbers. So as soon as we receive more information about that, absolutely, it will be shared with you as well. And in our school districts, in our C.W. Henry survey, I'll put that as a question so that families, you don't have to continue to answer multiple surveys again and again. So that brings us to the end of this morning's announcements. We're just under 20 minutes. So Mr. Brogan is going to pause this recording, shift back to the live Zoom meeting. If you just joined us, make sure that you have dropped your name into the chat to record your attendance and participation. And I encourage, continued discussion. I know that school reopening is a really scary thing for a lot of us right now, right? We're feeling all the feelings, and it's feeling nervous, and like it's a humongous decision that we have to make for our students as well as for our school community. So I'm sorry that I'm not here right now to participate in this discussion. I will absolutely be available later on today as well as this evening for our 5 p.m. family forum. I encourage you to ask any questions that you may have now. The chat is going to be saved and I will look at it before tonight's meeting. And if you are able to log back on, you can do so. And you can also feel free to send me an email or arrange a separate time to have a discussion. Have a wonderful rest of your morning, everybody. I look forward to talking to you soon.